Wonderful. Thank you guys all so much for joining me. My name is Jess Hartley, and for the last 20 years or so, I have been a writer, editor, and game developer. Most of my work's been in the tabletop role-playing game industry. And most recently, I've become a professional game master to help teach folks like you about how to play different games so that you can take them back and use them as therapeutic tools for your particular situations. I really, really love teaching mental health professionals about Changeling the Lost, especially if they've only had experience with Dungeons and Dragons or Dungeons and Dragons analogs. And one of the reasons for that is that it shows an example of how different games can be used as very, very different therapeutic tools, not just because the setting is different, but because how they approach the world is different. For example, in Dungeons and Dragons, your players or your player characters are kind of defined by the axis of race and class. And many games use this as a basics. So it's really about who you were born as and what you learned how to do. And unfortunately, that's how Western society often looks at people too. But Changing the Lost kind of takes that and skews it. Your characters here are defined by how the things you endured affected you, how they changed you, and that's your seeming and your kith. And then what you did and the mindset that you've taken upon to ensure that that doesn't happen again. So it makes a really, really interesting and very poignant trauma analog that I think can be make it a very useful tool in situations where D&D perhaps is not exactly the right fit. This evening, we're going to be playing your characters are all members of a motley, which is a group of changelings that have bonded together and bound themselves together through a sacred promise to watch each other's backs. And Alex and Frankie, you guys have both, as summer courtiers, have received an invitation from the current queen of your area. Her name is Leora, and she is the summer monarch. She is a lion beast. Beautiful, beautiful woman with a golden mane. And she is, you have interacted with her in the past during her reigns in previous years. Every year she hosts something on today, which is National or International Lions Day, which is a holiday that is celebrated across the world in real life to inform and educate people about the plight of lions in the wild. And as a lion beast, she has taken it upon herself that every year on Lion Day, when she is reigning, she holds a big party / competition. And your motley has received its invitation to this. In past years, there have been competitions like relay races and battle royales and that sort of thing. So this year's invitation doesn't list exactly what the competition it does, but it does invite you and the rest of your motley to arrive today at Queen Leora's establishment to partake in it. And how would you like to tell your other fellows about that?
Well, yes, it's about time. I was wondering when we were going to get our invitation. I'll let everyone know we have been cordially invited, and unfortunately this year they are remaining mysterious in what we shall do. Does anyone have any ideas of or maybe ideas on what they might expect this year might be?
Did you say cordials?
Yes, I thought I was very clear.
Cordials, drinking, fun.
So based on the previous years that we've done this, so far it's been just kind of like, have they been like intensive games or like battling games, like team against team kind of a thing? Just so I have an idea.
Usually they're motley against motley. That encourages changelings who come to the area to join motleys, and it also promotes the idea that a motley is the preferred way for changelings to interact with each other, because then they have each other watching out for each other instead of the monarch having to worry about each individual changeling. So they definitely have been, for the most part, motley versus motley kind of things, and they've been everything from racist to marksmanship competitions. They're always competitions of some sort, but they're not even always like physical battles or that sort of thing. The summer court really likes to promote excellence in every aspect.
Yeah. In character, I would say that, well, since the Court of Summer is in session, I would assume the theme has something to do with wrath.
In the corner, sitting on a metal folding chair, you would just hear a from Frankie. He's got a newsboy cap covering his eyes, and he's just leaning back, smoking a big cigar.
Well, yes, Frankie. Yeah. I would say Gray. Most probably, our chances are that we will make sure our team, our competitors, or other. Sorry, what are they called again? The other teams, factions.
Motley's?
Motley's. Thank you.
Motley's.
I was just thinking Motley Crew. The other Montleys will definitely at the end of this be wrathful towards us or angry for sure. We'll make sure that does happen, Gray. Unfortunately, I don't know what we're going to be getting into, so we must make sure we are ready for any possibility.
Yeah, just wake me up when it's time for fighting.
Anything happens, I'll pick you up. I got your back.
Right.
So the town that you guys all live in is fairly small. It's got a changeling population of maybe 80 to 100 people. And a human population is much bigger than that, but it's not a major metropolitan area or that kind of thing. You would know that the location that Leora has listed for you is maybe a 10-minute walk away. You faster if you go by bus or car. So it's not a difficult place to get to.
Well, so our Montleys all together. I'm assuming we're kind of rambled together.
Yeah, you guys have an apartment so that not all of you live there full time, but it's kind of your clubhouse. Some of you live there. It's your joint place where you can get together, store your stuff, have conversations.
Well, I think it'd be better to be not caught off guard. What would you think we all travel together this time?
I was gonna fly, but I guess I can walk.
You can fly? I didn't know that was a thing. Well, I mean, we can take a transport, I'm sure.
But it's only, what did you say, 10 minutes away? On a beautiful day like this, why would we not walk?
We
I
need
agree.
to conserve our strength.
I'm with them.
Thank you, Frankie.
These things make me uncomfortable, so let's just get there and get it over with and get it done.
I'm with you too. Sooner this is
concur.
done, the better I can get back to my own business.
Now, are you going to be interested in going in guns blazing, or are we going to go in stealthily?
At a party.
Of course.
I'd rather not draw a gun at a party till it's time to crack some skulls.
Metaphorically, of course.
Oh,
Nice.
metaphorically. Well, in that case, always.
It
Or
sounds to
making
me
a
like,
scene. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, it sounds to me like we need to start bringing some, jet stones with us, get you guys a little more grounded. Yeah, maybe grab some selenite too while we're at it. Just get rid of any negative energy before we get there.
What are you on about?
I don't
Listen.
understand.
Max, I keep telling you that every person is the worst person, and the sooner you understand that, the easier this is going to be.
Finally, somebody's saying it.
God, not everybody's the worst person.
Exactly what the
You guys
worst
are just
person would
bumming
say.
me out.
Well, I say we be on our way then. If everyone is willing to walk, we can walk. It's not efficient, but whatever. And
I'm
then,
afraid to. I'm going to get a bus.
thank you, Frankie.
If it's electric, I'll get in it.
Up here, in this town, an electric bus. Hell are you on about?
It's
The climate, nature, things that are good to keep around.
Frankie would roll his eyes and stub the cigar out on his tongue before putting it back in his pocket.
Ooh,
So cool. Every time
nice
you
way
do
of doing
that.
that.
Well, I like the taste.
obviously. All right, so I think as a group we'll head out. I'm gonna go on a bus with Frankie.
Somebody should make sure you
Yeah.
have supervision. Sorry.
I'm not paying your fare.
I'll go too, but I think I want to try to slink in ahead of time and get the lay of the land. and kind of report back to people.
Okay. Is anybody not going with the group?
Does everyone else want to take the bus, or is someone going, or does someone want to walk? Because I would prefer walking.
I'm going to fly, and I'm just going to keep an eye out and see if I can see any other mollies headed towards the area.
You would know that while your abilities allow you to basically kind of glide if you're in a top area, you can't actually like fly without attracting a lot of attention from the humans. They're going to assume something. So they might assume that you are paragliding. They might assume that you were doing some sort of high wire act, or that you were an illusion or a drone or something like that. But you would know that that they would see something. So you might want to be, just keep that in mind as you're making your way. Okay, so we've got some people on the bus. We've got
Gray, are you walking, or are you going to take the bus?
I'll walk with you.
Oh, thank you.
delightful.
I guess I'll walk with you too.
Aw.
You can't go alone.
Sky,
staying-
as you're walking, you will notice that there are a lot of birds out right now. Just not like a creepy amount or anything, but there's definitely the path that you're taking to get to the brownstone where the queen holds her court runs along one of the larger city parks in the area, and it's got big oak trees kind of lining the entire. It's about 2 blocks by 4 blocks. The entire area is kind of lined with oak trees and that kind of thing, and there's a lot of happy birds chitter chattering around as you make your way down there. You guys don't see that on the bus. But bus systems being about what they are, you don't make a huge, like you get there a couple minutes ahead of time from the walkers, but by the time you get off the bus and Lou kind of does a little checkout to find out what's going in, basically the walkers, the bus riders, and then Lou coming back in with a report all kind of happen round about the same time. Lou, you would find the Queen's brownstone areas at the top entire floor of this brownstone. It's about 4 or 5 stories, and the entire top floor has been separated out, or the lower floors have been separated out into apartments, and the top floor has basically been connected all into one big space that makes it essentially, I don't know, it's like maybe 2,000 square feet. It's a pretty big place. There's a big like ballroom competition-y area. There's some living areas. There's a kitchen and a couple bathrooms scattered throughout and that kind of thing. What you see when you kind of do your quick little slink through is there are tables that are all set up in the competition area, the ballroom area, and there are covered cloches, like fancy dinner trays with the things that come off on each one, the center of each one of the tables. The tables look like they probably hold 5 or 6 people each, the way they are. And there's definitely somebody who is watching to make certain that nobody gets near the cloches. But you can see that, it's obviously set up for something. It doesn't look like a battle zone or, a paintball game or something like that, which are previous things that the Queen has ran.
Frankie
Okay.
looks immediately disappointed.
Does my impeccable nose pick up any interesting scents?
All kinds of interesting scents. Just a cacophony. It is worse than walking into a grocery store, just in terms of how many conflicting aromas that there are in this place.
It's a pie eating contest.
So I'm gonna go back to the motley, and I explain all of that, and I won't go through all that detail again. Just imagine that I said it, but with like a crabby attitude.
I'll try and be crabbier next time.
I can't stand the fact that I don't know what this is. I I need to know so we can be ready. I'm not going in this blind. I can't. So he said bunch of different, basically told us a bunch of different smells going on.
So it stinks.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Wow.
there is also right at the entryway, like you didn't go past the desk because there's like a table set up at the entryway for people to like check in as they're going in. And there is already like one or two motleys kind of congregating in corners in that ballroom area. There's at the table, there's somebody who's obviously doing some sort of check-in organizational thing. They've got like a pile of different colored badges and paperwork and clipboards and all that kind of thing.
Do we know any of the other motleys?
Yeah, definitely. There is a motley that is predominantly not only summer court members, but members of an entitlement called the Sacred Band. I can't remember the exact name, but they just go by the Sacred Band. They are kind of egotistical assholes. They're definitely epitomize the we are the best, we are the champions. And you'd know that when they make invitations for other people to join them, if the person that they've deemed worthy to join them chooses not to, they go about destroying that person because they're not going to have somebody running around who turned them down. That kind of happens in a blind spot. Leora tends to look the other direction because these are her best of the summer court. There is you've encountered a group of spring courtiers that do performance style stuff in town. They're really involved with promoting human artists and performers. And they all have their own specialty. There's a couple of dancers and a painter, some musicians, a composer, that kind of thing. And they're very, very spring court oriented. They just call themselves they call themselves the Requiem. Let's see. The winter court tend to not be public about how they are arranged in motleys. So you may have caught the idea that some of the winter courtiers are connected, but they're not blunt about it. Like the Sacred Band folks, they literally wear gold cloaks that are like their team colors kind of thing. And the Requiem definitely talk about, the fact that they are part of Requiem and they're very proud about it. The Winter Court tends to not talk about what their official affiliations are. And there's a couple small groups of autumn courtiers here in town too that you suspect are probably members of Motley because they just kind of like they have the same vibe. There's a group that are kind of based loosely on a circus. So you've got like the strong man and the lion tamer who's actually like a wolf beast, that kind of thing. So, and Lou, you would be able to tell that the Golden Band were in one corner. They're definitely got like a good view of everything that's going on. They've got their little corner staked out with their chairs with the emblems for the Golden Band and all that kind of thing on it. It's a thing. And there's one of the autumn courts is in another, Motley's is in another corner. And there's a group that's checking in now that all appear to be winter court, maybe a motley. We're not really sure. They're not saying anything, but that's pretty much who's gathered so far.
Sacred Band is the summer court, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the jerks.
Those are my least favorite people. I think I grumble bullies under my breath, and I kind of don't care if they hear it or not. I'm contemplating if I want to.
They're kind of proud of it.
They're such a drag.
I'm considering, and I feel like my crew would know me well enough to see it bubbling up in me that I'm about to glare at them intimidatingly and see what happens about it.
I just touched Lou on the shoulder.
I've got Lou's back.
I'm gonna
Frank is the exact opposite. As he sees this, he's just going to start making a nasty face their way as well.
I join in, but definitely look at them intimidatingly. And I have intimidation predator, and I don't know what that means, but I assume it's intimidation but hungry.
So in the things in your skill section, if you've got something in parentheses after a skill, what it is a specialty. And what that means is if I call for a die roll, for example, I'm looking at Pax's sheet. If I call for a die roll that involves medicine and we're talking about plant-based medicine, then Pax not only gets to count the 1 point, the 1 die from the medicine, but gets to count a second one because he gets they get a 1 die bonus for the fact that their specialization applies. So if you guys are ever in a situation where I'm calling for a roll and you see a skill, like maybe I'm calling for something vaguely involving physical activity, and I say, hey, I want you guys to do a Dex plus athletics, and you're like, but hey, I'm going to actually be really sneaky when I do this. Can I do Dex plus stealth to try and get into the right position? That's totally okay with me. Like, I want you guys to apply your character sheets in the way that is going to be the most fun for you. So if you have a specialty and you can make a pitch for why it applies, I'm very, very likely to let you have those bonus die. So that was a long way of saying your predator means basically anytime that you're in a situation where you're trying to intimidate someone and they are taking on, or you can put them into a prey type aspect where you're coming at it as a predator, you get that extra bonus.
Yeah, that's the vibe I'm sending out, that I am definitely a predator and they're the prey in this situation.
Nice.
I think Pax will go ahead and kind of do this really. I'm thinking like out of Legally Blonde, kind of this like big bend and snap kind of thing to try to be like, look how great we are.
We meant to do that.
Yeah, that's great.
Fantastic.
While this is all happening and we're seeing the other groups or motleys showing up, can I, from like previous years past and things like that, can I kind of break down what I know their groups are like particularly good at? For example, like kind of being like, okay, so like these guys are really fast, or like they're really good brawlers, or these people love to eat, or something similar to that, just from
100%.
previous. Okay, cool.
100%. Your sacred band, they are definitely the athletes. They're good at fighting and that kind of thing, but they're the ones who are at the gym every day and just they consider themselves to be perfection in physical specimens. The Autumn Court motley that's over in one corner, they tend to be investigators, and they really like poking their nose into everything. If there is a secret that is around, they are definitely the ones who are going to do their best to find it. And the Winter Courtiers, who are kind of ahead of you in line, getting signed up as a team, they are researchers. They don't so much like go and check out an area for clues. They go back to the library and find out what situations might apply and what they can extrapolate out from past things and that kind of thing. That's the kind of the three groups who are currently present. Was that the kind of information you were looking for?
Yes, that was. Thank you.
So the winter team gets all signed up, and they move past the table in and kind of claim a little area in the ballroom, and the individual that's behind the desk finishes up the paperwork that they were doing and turns and looks at you. You think that they're looking at you, at least they appear to be facing your direction, but their face is like a featureless mask. It's very definitely got like some cheekbone movement, and there's a small slit where the mouth would be, but they don't have any apparent eyes or nose slits or anything like that. It's kind of like somebody was wearing kind of a metal facade of a human face looking at you. And despite the fact that the mouth is only this tiny, the voice that comes through it is kind of regal and very, very formal. Are you going to be checking in?
Obviously, that's why we're here.
Well, that is one reason why you could be here. Yes, I am glad to hear that that is what you are here. May I have your name, please?
Do I rattle off all of our names, or is it like our group name?
Well, if you will give me your name, and then I'll get his name and his name and their name and their name and his name. And then I'll ask you for what name you'd like to be identified with as a group. So could we start with your name?
Alex.
Delightful. And are you affiliated with the court, Alex?
Yes.
Delightful. May I have the name of your court, please?
Mine's Summer.
Fantastic. Leora will be very pleased. She enjoys it greatly when members of her court are here to compete. Fantastic. And who would like to be next?
I am Gray of the Autumn Court.
Delightful. Is that with an E or an A?
With an E, please.
As you wish. And are you all 6 members going to be joining as part of the same team?
Yes.
Delightful. There is a limit of 6, so you've come in well prepared, I see. And the individual will just go one by one and ask what your names are, what your courts are. Do any of you intend on expressing anything other than just simple name and court? No? Okay.
We're
So-
going to win.
Oh. Well, I'll make certain to make a note of that. And what team name would you like to be using this evening?
What do you guys think of the Fab Six?
Love it.
Immediately.
I
Mikey's
I think
shaking
Pax
his
is-
head.
Pax is gonna just step right up and just say Fab Six, and then we're all just gonna be all right. Yeah.
Delightful.
Ah,
Fab Six it is.
Christ.
I guess the good
beautiful
news
and
is we haven't
intimidating.
had anyone use that before, so there you go.
Sweet.
Unique. Fantastic. And do you have a preference in terms of team colors? I have a green, gray, purple, and yellow left.
Red.
Ray.
Gray.
Perhaps the rest of you could explain to your teammate that red is not one of the colors that I mentioned. I think they're a little
Frankie.
confused.
There are many shades of red. I can show you if you
Frankie.
like.
That is indeed true. However, none of them are gray, green.
Now, Frankie, I think we should go with a gray as a compatriot here, and I'll like signal over to Gray. Is Gray?
No. Gray won't do. You just told her the name of the damn team is the Fab Six. We need something
Yes.
garish, something blinding, even.
Let's see.
Right.
There was green.
Blinding
and-
is a good strategy. What were the colors again?
Now hold on a minute. Can you think of anything with more backbone than calling ourselves the Fab Six and walking in with Gray?
That's what I was thinking, honestly. Like it says 2 different messages and you don't know what to expect.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
That's
It's
Fab because we're
off-putting.
Fab.
We hide our hand, Frankie. Hide it until we need to reveal it.
Sounds to me like you just don't have a sense of gravitas. No sense of style.
Gray it is.
Ugh.
They slide the gray pile of 6 patches over to you. It's like, well, that's the longest that decision has ever taken. But Fab Six, you are registered, and we're waiting on a couple of more teams. But please feel free to make your way into the competition area. We ask that you don't sit at any of the tables yet; those will be reserved for the competition. But please feel free to make yourselves at home. There's a tray of refreshments near the kitchen area. Should you require anything else while you wait, please feel free to let me know.
Perchance, I know we're on our way in. Is there, so they slid over like some patches, right? Like gray patches. Is there any way that the other patches were in arm's reach?
Yes, but they're in, so there's a table and they're within arm's reach, but it would be very obvious that you would be taking them from out in front of the individual that's registered people.
Okay.
Registrar.
Fair enough.
But please feel free.
They're just patches. I was hoping
But
for
if we can-
cloaks.
True, I guess. No. No, obviously, like even if I was to be like, oh, I'm on your team, like clearly I'm not. So
Right.
it's fair. Yeah. No, it's fair to just move on.
I think when we get in there, Frankie's gonna immediately beeline for the refreshment table.
I want to pat you on the back, Frankie, and say, don't worry, we're gonna turn the patch red.
Oh, that's the plan. And he's holding up a glass of wine.
Yeah, there is
Ooh.
a huge layout here of food. Obviously, there's protein and carb stuff, there's sweets, there's finger foods, there's packaged things, there's beautiful creations. It's obvious that whoever laid this out took a great deal of pride in having something that would appeal to everyone from a hunter heart to a wind wing. And there's a similar variety in beverages. There's everything from top shelf whiskey to water.
Top shelf whiskey, indeed.
Pax will go grab some mead and the healthiest looking thing on there.
Oh, there's a lovely fruit platter and vegetable platter with a couple of organic looking dips and
Okay.
very, very nice.
Can Frankie, so Frankie's he's found wine, right? I'm correct in assuming that. Okay,
Yep.
Nice red wine. As he's sort of off a little bit on his own, but it sounds like someone joined him. Was that Lou? I think I heard.
Mhm.
Okay, Lou, you would watch as
Excellent.
Frankie takes his thumb. He's got like this slender black chipped scraggly claw, and he dips it in the wine, and then he pushes it in the center of the patch to make a red teardrop in the center. Much better. You want me to do you?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Bring it here. They take the thumb and push it
Predators
in.
unite.
This is a rare display of camaraderie, but I'm gonna post up for a high five after you do that.
Yeah, I mean, this tall, lanky creature would just give you a bam right in the. I'm guessing we both try and do it as hard as possible. There's just a loud clap.
Oh yeah. I always
yeah.
pull back
Everybody in
and
the
snap.
room kind of looks like, what was that? Okay. That's them. Okay.
That's brotherhood, is what that is.
Now let's find the greasiest, nastiest food they got in this joint and stuff our gobs.
Puts his hand over his heart, and he just knows he's finally found his family.
Find some
I'm gonna
greasy-
join Pax and eat some fruit and vegetables.
Oh, thank you so much for coming over.
I'm glad we can enjoy something together.
Of course, have you tried the mead yet?
No, it sounds delicious though.
Oh, you should try it. It's absolutely amazing. I've got this extra powder you can put in it too.
Powder?
Oh, yeah. It makes it very special.
I'm scared.
Talking about their arsenic again over there.
That white powder. So is this the ballroom that has the stuff hidden, or is that separate?
Yep,
Okay.
it's basically people are kind of gathering around the outside. There's chairs and stuff like that sit up along the outside walls, where people can kind of create their own little team spaces and that kind of thing. And it's obvious that there's, much in the same way that the food was and drink was handled, the accommodations here are very varied. So you've got big heavy chairs, made out of wood beams like this that would be perfect for a big ogre to sit in, or a giant. You've got very, very delicate little chairs that would be lovely for a bird person, or a wizened, or that sort of thing. There's those big poofs like footstools, ottomans in different places that can be gathered for people that like to lounge. There's big throw pillows on the floor in certain areas for people who want to lay down or make themselves more comfortable that way. Maybe people who are more comfortable in animal forms or that sort of thing. So there is the accommodations here make it very clear that the person or people that were putting it together are very aware that changelings are a very varied people, and have been very accommodating about that. I need to stop using the word very.
Is there a chaise lounge somewhere?
There's not a chaise per se, but there is definitely like some square, almost like the cushions that come off sofas, except maybe twice as deep, that you could very easily line up and then stack a second one on, or have someone line them up for you if you'd prefer, to act as a chaise lounge. Yes, definitely.
I will see if there's anyone who's willing to help me create this little chaise lounge, and then I will pick the most strange way to lay down on it that looks semi uncomfortable, but somehow I make myself look very comfortable while laying like that.
I make this look easy.
Make it work. So while we're in that room, does this have the challenge in it, or is this one different?
Yeah,
okay.
in the center of the room are a set of like 6 round tables with chairs around them, and these are all much more regular. They're basically like you'd get when you rent from a party place or something. Tables with tablecloths on them that almost but don't quite reach the floor, and then in the center of each one of them is a large silver tray with a silver cloche over the top of it to hide whatever's under the tray.
So, okay. As Frankie and Lou are walking around, I think Frankie's going to reach down real quick and snag the side of a tablecloth. And he's going to do some ripping and some tearing, pull off 2 strips, then look down at the patch and be like, I didn't really give us any instructions about these. So and he starts to tie a headband around his brow and stick this patch over his forehead.
Okay. As you start to rip the tablecloth, there is a very prim and proper individual, looks to be maybe 4.5 feet tall and maybe weighs 75 pounds soaking wet, dressed in a very prim and proper like Victorian maid's outfit with a little ruffled collar and the little white cap. A kind of knee-length black skirt, little white apron over the top of it, and they come bustling up and they're like, oh, sir, please, can I provide something with you? This was not intended for ripping purposes. Could I get you something? Is there something
He's like
that I could do?
holding it up, like staring at this person and like slowly pulling at the fabric. And
I would hate to have to report this damage to the organizer. It would be a very, very big shame should your team be disqualified for violating the rules of hospitality. But I'd be happy to provide you with some strips of cloth if you'd like that.
are they wearing any? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Are they wearing any ribbons?
Yes, their little hats is tied on with ribbons. Their little neck collar is tied with a little black ribbon in the center.
I think Frankie, being the rude boy he is, would just point at one of the ribbons on the top of this person's head and say, I'll take that. Which one do you want? Saying to Lou.
Oh, my ribbons. Of course, sir. Of course, I'd be happy to provide them for you. And she takes very carefully, meticulously takes a few hairpins out of the little cap that's tied on and tucks them neatly away in a little hidden pocket on their pinafore, and goes about basically deconstructing their cap for you. Thank you so much for the opportunity to help provide you with this. Allow me here. It'll be just a moment. I want to make certain that they get the edges just right. For a person of your stature, we want to make certain that there's no fraying or that sort of thing. And within just as they're chit-chattering away, they've
Mm.
deconstructed this cap into essentially a large lace napkin
Okay.
and a couple of 3 or 4 black ribbons, maybe, 1/4 inch wide, made out of like a satiny material.
Mm.
And they present them to you. Please, is there anything else that I can do for you, sir?
No, it'll do.
Well, thank you
He's
very much. It's my pleasure to serve.
fixing it.
If there's anything else that I can help provide for you, please don't hesitate. It is truly my pleasure to do so.
Oh, I'm sure it is. What time is this whole shindig getting going, anyways?
She looks up and checks the clock. And I believe that the opening announcements will be in just a moment. If you'd like to have a seat, I could actually go and check and see if I could hurry things along for you.
Oh, just for little old me. No, don't worry your little head. I'll find something to occupy myself. Please. It is very obvious he's scanning around looking for something else to get in trouble in.
She gets this look of like, oh no. And it's like, oh, well, then you'll excuse me, and darts off for like a room that is like, there's a open doorway that leads down to a little hall, skitters off down that just as quick as her little patent leather shoes can take her without looking inappropriate or lacking in decorum. And sure enough, within maybe 30 seconds of her rounding the corner out of your sight, there is the sound of trumpets and the gentleman steps out of one of the side rooms. He's dressed all in gold, and he's very, very, like, everything is in place, just meticulous. And he has a booming voice, and he calls out, "Will all please stand for the arrival of Queen Leora, Lion of the North, Monarch of the Sun, she who puts the stars to shame." And he just keeps going on as a procedure of summer courtiers come up the hallway that the little maid woman disappeared down. The center person, there's a pair of guards that come out and step to each side of the doorway, and then the queen comes out, and she's wearing like tight-fitting leggings and big clumpy boots, all in like tones of browns and golds, like a tunicky kind of vest thing that's sleeveless. And she's got this, not only is her hair this beautiful natural golden mane, but she's got what looks like maybe a fox fur ruff around her shoulders. And despite it being like 90 degrees outside, and hanging down from it is, instead of like a train, she has this cape that extends probably 10 feet down the hallway behind her. That, considering that the room is only maybe 30 feet across, it's really kind of overdone for the space, but it definitely puts forth this air of regality, and she just has this feeling about her that, even if you didn't know who she was, you wouldn't have any difficulty picking her out as the reigning monarch. There's just a glow about her. And she moves down the center of the room. It's like there's a very large, beautifully carved chair that's directly opposite the hallway. So it's like she comes down the hallway and straight across the center of the room. The tables, you can tell now that she's making her way here that obviously they've been laid out to create an aisle for her to process down the center of, and she makes her way to the throne at the opposite end of the end of the room. Some very young changelings scurry to move her cloak around so that she doesn't have to sit on it or get tripped up in it when she moves to sit. It's obvious that this is a highly orchestrated procedure. And finally, by the time she sits down, the herald has stopped rattling off her titles, which you're pretty sure she's added 2 or 3 since last time you saw her, which was only a few weeks ago. Do you guys want to react in any way? I didn't want to steamroll over the top of you. Do you want to react in any way as she's coming in?
Real quick, Lou's gonna like tap Frankie on the arm and say, you don't need to squish every marshmallow you come across, right? People might start to think you're overcompensating for something.
Let him.
Axe just pulls out this little pyramid of glass and just starts being like, oh, something's happening? Okay, whatever.
Lou just sits back and glowers at that display of grandeur.
I
Yeah,
think Frankie would be tapping his foot.
Can we get on with this now?
I'm still
Sky
looking
is
at
going
the
to-
tables. Sorry, go ahead, Sky.
Sky is going to look on and just, she's so beautiful and so regal. Like, can't stop staring at her beautiful hair.
Fantastic. That is exactly the look that she is attempting to cultivate. So when the herald stops announcing her titles, there is members of her court start clapping, and obviously like nudge other people to clap, and they're obviously playing into her ego, and then the herald comes and stands near the throne and says, you may all be seated. And then Queen Leora stands and he steps back, and she takes a moment to kind of bask in the spotlight and the fact that everyone's staring at her now, and she holds the entire room's attention in her hands, and she smiles benevolently to the entire room. Thank you all so much for joining me. As I'm certain you know, this is my favorite holiday of the entire year. And in celebration of International Lions Day this summer, I've decided to do a unique competition, a new tradition for our freehold, as I believe that traditions are the foundation upon which Changeling society is truly built. This year and every year in the future, on International Lions Day, I will be creating a competition in which any team of members from our freehold can compete. And the winning team of this competition each year will be the proud recipients of this. And she gestures to the side, and a couple of her people that had moved her cloak out of the way bring forth this box that's probably 5 feet long, maybe about a foot deep, a foot and a half wide. It's a wooden box that's hinged, and as they hold it out to her, she unclasps it and lifts the lid, and she pulls out a sword. And this sword is a work of art. It is done completely in gold and copper tones, which many of you would recognize. Any of you who've actually fought with a weapon before is a horrible idea. Gold is a very, very soft metal. But the edge still looks really, really sharp. It's done the hilt piece has got beautiful curlicues. You kind of get the feeling, even from where you're standing across the room, that the patterning on the hilt and the basket that would protect your hand is kind of moving as she's holding it. And when she lifts it up and brandishes it, the entire length of the blade glows with like noonday sunlight. She said, I have ordered this sword to be commissioned. It will be passed along from winner to winner as new teams win the Lions Day competitions. The competitions in coming years may vary, but the prize and the rules will always be similar. The team which wins gains possession of Lightbringer for the coming year and receives the honor of being named as the favored of the sun. That allows them permission to attend any of the summer court gatherings, regardless of whether they belong to another court or not. And from the corner where the golden standard is coming, because they're all summer court, from the corner where they are, you hear like this hiss of disbelief, because this is like a violation of basic court protocol. Like, you don't invite other members of other courts to your court gatherings. That's where you talk about private court stuff. In addition, during the course of the year, each member of the winning team will have the ability to come to me as the summer queen, or after my reign has ended, to any of the monarchs within the freehold. And one time during the course of the year, we'll be able to ask for a major favor from the reigning monarch. I have sworn this to the weird and made a vow to it that this will be carried out. She takes the sword and puts it back in the box. I suppose you're all wondering what the competition for this year is going to be. Aren't you? No?
Yes,
Yeah.
You're not
let's get on with it.
Oh, okay, yes.
We've
of
all
course,
been
okay.
waiting.
Oh, that's
Get on with it.
Move on with the impractical sword. Let's go.
Yes. So this year's competition, and she claps her hands, and her little people have been helping her out, scurry to each of the tables and lift the cloche, and displayed on the silver tray is a Lazy Susan of bottles. Each of them is corked. They're all glass and probably hold maybe an ounce or so of liquid in them, maybe an ounce and a half, 2 ounces. There's a broad variety of different colors and shades, opacities. Anyway,
Yeah.
some of them can be seen through, some of them can't. And she says, I have worked with our area, Clementine, our area's local premier brewer, over the course of the last year to gather myriad potions and brews from across the world, throughout the hedge. Some of these have been distilled from ingredients which only grow in a particular hollow one time every decade. I have brought these for you, and the competition is this. Each team, which will number no more than 6 individuals, will take turns. They will spin the Lazy Susan, and whichever brew is in front of them when this Lazy Susan stops will be their brew. They have the option of either drinking that brew or passing it to the person on their left or the person on their right. Some of these brews are helpful in various ways. Some of them are detrimental. Some of them, to be honest, are just amusing. However, at the point where all of them are, well, most of them are at least slightly alcoholic. And at the point at which an individual from a team has had enough to drink that they are, well, shall we just say under the table, they are no longer active members of that team. The last team with a member standing will receive the honor for this year. Does anyone have any questions about the rules?
Can we touch Lazy Susan after we spin it?
Can you interfere with what brew will come up in front of you? Is that what you're
Correct.
asking?
Well, I mean, interfere is not the right word, but I mean, can I just put my hands
Manipulate?
on the Lazy Susan once I'm done spinning? Like, so I spin it and I can stop it.
No, you are not allowed to stop it on a particular potion. There is a certain amount of randomness. However, that is why we have allowed you to choose to either drink the drink yourself or pass it along to a member of another team who will be sitting beside you.
How many bottles are there?
There are probably 30 bottles on each Lazy Susan.
So there's 6 different tables then,
Mhm.
and
There's
we'll
a huge
each
amount
be
of
at a
brews there.
different.
Mhm.
And it will each be at a different table, so we won't all be at the same table.
Right. So you'll all be
Okay.
competing at the same time, but against members from other teams.
Booze is free, right?
Yes, there is no charge for entering the
Oh,
competition.
fantastic.
Can one member go more than once?
You will each take turns going
Okay.
around the room or going around the table until such a time as there is only one person at each table sitting. And at that time, the tables will be consolidated, as will the remaining brews. And the finalists of those competitors will proceed until only one person is standing.
Okay.
Of course, because this is a team competition, should at any point only members of one team still be standing, then that team shall be declared a winner. I won't force you to drink against each other, although that would be amusing. No, that might take too long. Any other questions before we begin proceeding?
Are we allowed to
Do
open the
they-
bottles before we choose to pass them or not?
No, I think that wouldn't be quite fair. There might be an opportunity for sneaky individuals to taste or test the brews within in some way. You can, however, pick them up and examine them. You simply cannot unstopper them.
Okay. Cancel.
Do they all have the same amount of alcohol content in them, or are they various
No,
alcohol
they vary.
contents?
How fun would it? It wouldn't be nearly as much fun if it was predictable, now would it? In fact, it's possible that we may have even crafted a few brews which help avoid the effects of the alcohol from the other brews.
Do we all have to drink at the same time?
Yes.
This is why I hate coming to stuff like this. It's always mercurial bullcrap.
I think only one of the brews appears to look like mercury.
Just don't drink that one, Lou.
Even that,
Yes.
whimsical. It's always whimsical.
Agreed. Um,
So
Don't-
if you, oh yes, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say I don't think I have any more questions.
If you would like, if no one else has any more questions, the from the back, the Golden Standard folks, the Golden Bands, Sacred Band folks, they are popping up with, well, this isn't right. You can't let them come into our, and the Queen just looks at them and raises one finger and is like, silence. I am the monarch. I can and will do exactly what this is in this freehold's best interests. Would you like to challenge me now, here, in front of all these individuals, while the crown of the freehold rests upon my forehead? And they all just kind of like, it's not right though.
Big pie-eating grin. I love every second of that.
Yep.
Axe is right there with you.
Frankie's with Lou. He's grinning from ear to ear.
They made mommy mad.
Axe is like, no one likes a square.
I'm just making some little notes here before we get started in the actual competition. So please. So when you are, when you've decided your team affiliations, well, I assume you've already done that when you checked in, please feel free to choose a table, no more than one member of any given team at a table, and we'll begin the competitions when everyone's set. So each of the teams, some of the teams don't have enough people to put someone at each of the tables. A couple of the autumn teams are only 3 people. So they divide up kind of strategically so that there are autumn court members at each of the tables that are associated with one of the 2 small motleys. The winter courtiers have rallied a member, a full set of 6. The Sacred Band folks are arguing because there's 7 of them, and they're arguing about who has to sit out because none of them want to. It looks like it might come to fisticuffs, but eventually one of the smaller, looks like more dexterous as opposed to strength individuals kind of takes a seat on the sideline and waits out their I guess not their turn, because they're not going to get a turn. Okay, so have you each chosen a table?
Is there a table where I can have a mirror or a shiny surface directly across from me?
If you, there are no mirrors or shiny or obvious shiny surfaces. I mean, obviously there's things like wine bottles and stuff like that here. If you appear to be looking around for something, the little maid who was interacting with Frankie earlier will come scurrying up to you and ask if there's some way that they can assist you.
I was just looking to see what was available. Since there isn't one, I'm just going to pick a random table.
Okay.
And I'm going to sit down and set my little pyramid directly in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of okay.
Is it possible, because there was like food before, is it possible to like shove a handful of like oats in my mouth?
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
just
yeah, there's
something to help if in case it's really alcoholic, I can keep myself standing, you know, like something to fill up the stomach. So I'm gonna like just grab whatever I can that's like
Just, like,
eggs, oats, bananas, something, and just
potatoes, something.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. So because you've taken that step, what I'm going to do, I'm going to explain out of game the mechanics to you guys in just a minute. But remind me that that you get a +1. You start out basically at -1 alcohol poisoning.
All
And
right.
if you'd like to explain that to the rest of your motley, please feel free.
I'm legit coming at you with handfuls of food, and I'm telling you to eat it. I'm like, we're not losing this impractical sword. You're eating this right now. I'm like handing you like a plate of just like fibrous foods and things. I guess with like eggs and stuff too.
I've already had some apples and stuff, but yeah, sure.
Alex coming to Frankie with some food. I mean, Frankie's.
Oh yeah. I knew. I didn't have to tell you. I just handed you the plate and you took it.
His motley
Exactly.
is some of the few people in this world that he trusts. So being given food by them is fine. He'll stuff his face.
I don't want to. A bird like me doesn't like eating food like this, but for this challenge, I will do it for our motley.
Yes, you will. Thank you, Sky.
Don't be a prude. Enjoy yourself.
I also protest at first in the same vein of like, we ate a lot of greasy meat a little bit ago. All right, fine. And I just shove the oats in my mouth, hating every second of it.
Reluctantly, if this is the best course of action, I'm in, and I take some and eat it.
Fantastic. Okay, so you guys are all, what I'm going to do, so the way that we're going to do this is I have a table of random brews out of game. I have a table of random brews. I have designated each one of them with effects and appearance and an alcohol rating of somewhere between -2 and +4. Okay, what I'm going to have you guys each do is keep your own tally so that I don't have to tally for all 6 of you guys. And we're going to use the honor system because why would you cheat at a game? So you're all going to be starting at -1 because you basically have loaded your stomach to prep you for alcohol stuff. If I tell you a positive number after you take a brew, you're going to add that to your sobriety level or your alcohol level. If I give you a negative number, you're going to take that away. That's going to be something that sobers you up a little bit. Okay. And if at any point you hit 6 points of alcohol, you pass out. Does that make sense?
Can we go over that one more time? I'm sorry.
Absolutely. Let me give you an example. For example, it is Gray, it is your turn. You are going to spin the table. I am going to use this random number generator, which I'm going to put right over here so I can do that. I've set it to have the proper number to match up with the brews. Sorry, I'm having to get Nope, wait, I've shut this entire screen. No, I don't want that. Sorry, technology, not always my strongest points. Why? I only have a tiny little screen now and I can only see sky. There we go. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. Had to find the exit minimized video button. Okay. So Gray, you're going to spin the Lazy Susan. I'm going to hit the random number generator. The number that came up was 35. I'm going to go to the chart. I'm going to look at the item that is 35. So the item that is in front of your character, we're just using this as an example. The item that is in front of your character is a small vial full of a whitish, slimy liquid. Would you like to choose to drink that liquid, or would you like to pass it to an opposite teammate, a person from another team at your table?
You did say this was an example, right?
This is an example. Yes, we're out of
I'll
game.
drink it.
We're just game. Okay, so you drink this. Then I will tell you. Okay, so that you're going to add +1 to your alcohol rating, and any plants within arm's reach of you curl up and die in your presence for the length of this tournament. Plant folks are very uncomfortable around you. So I might have chosen that one of the people at your table was a wood blood elemental, and they look like a large tree, or maybe they're a flowering ferris like we were talking about earlier. They would get very uncomfortable. It's not going to do physical damage to them, but they're going to be like pulling back from you and stuff. So each potion will have some sort of an effect, and then it will also have an alcohol rating, either positive, that's making you more drunk, or more inebriated, or lower, which is going to make you more sober.
Okay.
I should have checked. Does anyone have a problem? When we were talking session 0 stuff, we mentioned a lot of things. Does anyone have a problem with being involved in a role play scene that involves consuming alcohol to the point of intoxication? No,
I'm
okay.
good.
Okay, because we could totally modify this. I should have double checked specifically with that thing when we were talking session 0. Thank you for your understanding that I forgot. Okay, so does everyone understand how the mechanics on this are going to work? Fantastic. Okay, great. What we're going to do is we're just going to take turns. Each of you is sitting at a table with one member of the Golden Standard, with one member of the Winter Court, and with one member of the Autumn Court, either the circus crew or the I can't remember what. Oh, I think I only fleshed out the circus crew or the general Autumn Court motley that was present and didn't really have a thing. Oh no, they were the mystery hunters. That's right. Sorry.
Yeah, so you had the autumn, the winter, and the sacred bands.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Which is mostly the sacred band is summer for the most part.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So you're each sitting at a table with 3 other people. I'm going to be keeping track of the things that are happening for the other people as we go around here. And we're going to go, let's see, let's do some sort of an order so that, so I've gotten you written down on my sheet as Pax, then Alex, then Frankie, then Lou, then Sky, then Gray. Is everyone okay if we proceed in that order, just to have a way to organize things? They're all of these will actually technically be happening. Well, let's, for the sake of making things calm, let's have each table be doing, so table 1 will make a spin, table 2 will make a spin. That way, if something happens at another table and you want to react to it, you have the opportunity to do so instead of trying to organize things happening simultaneously in game.
Okay.
So, okay, fantastic. So Pax, you're up. You want to spin?
Sure.
Spin it, baby. Do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The brew that lands in front of you is white and opaque. You can't see through it. And if you lift it and sniff at it, it smells a little bit like chalk. Would you like to drink it, or would you like to pass it along?
Oh, chalk. So, would I have possibly smelled anything like this before?
Well, let's see. Why don't you give me, that's a very good question. Why don't you give me, we're going to set up a standard roll that you can do to find out whether you recognize this in any way, shape, or form. Okay. I'm going to put these all at a -2 difficulty because they are in sealed bottles and they are specifically things that the queen has tried to gather that are obscure and interesting in her opinion. So
Okay.
they're probably not going to be, for the most part, things like milk. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's see, how about intelligence and either investigation or medicine, depending upon which one's higher for your characters. That'll give you guys some variety. So
Okay.
whenever you roll or whenever you spin, you can roll in intelligence and either investigation or medicine. And if you get at -2 die, and if you get at least 1 success, let me know and I'll let you know, what you think it is.
Okay. Would this be considered plant-based?
You know what? I think it very well could be.
Okay, so that's 2 die that I get to roll.
Okay. Is that minus your -2?
Yes, that is minus the -2.
Okay, good. It's like, oh, it's gonna get. Oh, something else I should explain, and I'm sorry I didn't cover this earlier. When you're on while your attributes will always have at least 1 in them, 1 dot in them, your skills may not. You may have a skill that you have 0 ability in. You can still make a roll using that skill. If it is a physical or social skill, you're rolling at a -1 untrained penalty. So you can roll it, you're just down 1 die to your die pool. Unfortunately, if it's a mental skill, which most of these are, and you don't have any dots in it, you're going to be at a -3 penalty, because mental skills are things that for the most part have to be taught in order to be learned. Some people may be born with a good knack for athletics or being stealthy. They're not so much born with a knack for, medicine or that kind of thing. So there's a -3 penalty for mental stuff. You got no successes?
None whatsoever.
That's fine. So you just, you're like, I don't know. Maybe if this was open, I could tell, but I can't right now. So would you like to hand it or drink it?
Well, I did smell kind of like chalk, so I'm kind of thinking similar concept to milk of magnesia idea.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and take it. I'm gonna go ahead and drink it.
Okay. So you are -2 points on your alcohol meter.
So it's already at -1, so that makes it -3.
So you're at -3.
Hey.
Oh, nice.
You pop this open and chug it down, and your mouth feels really funny. It like coats the inside of your mouth. It kind of makes it numb. And then as you're like, this is kind of weird. Your front teeth here, your canines, start growing like astronomically fast. And within like 30 seconds, you actually have like mandibles sticking out of your mouth in place of your teeth. And it makes it very, very difficult for you to communicate verbally. Not to mention, you look pretty interesting. You can see it in the pyramid.
Pax, you're still lovely. Don't worry, Pax, you're still lovely. No, you still look great.
This will be
You've
fun.
got this.
You look cool. You
Okay.
look tough. This is fine.
Alex, you're going to be the next up.
All right, spin away.
Okay, fantastic. I forgot that I have to actually hit the random number generator. Okay, fantastic. Oh, well, it would be fantastic if I had not let the maximum number equal 50 and only generated 40 descriptions of potions. So there we go. Okay, much better. Okay, fantastic. So speaking of mercurial, the vial that you lift up looks like it has liquid silver inside of it.
Okay, so and then if I were to pass it, the other person would give me theirs, or does it kind of like grow? No,
it just You just yes. Well,
just hope that no one passes it to me, or
yes, that's what happens. You can choose to pass it,
okay.
But they can on their turn choose to pass to you too. And there are both positive and negative effects in in the bottles.
Pass it. I just pass it.
You're gonna pass it?
Is one of the sacred bands here at like a jock?
Yeah,
guys?
there's a sacred band member at each
All right.
table. Yep.
I'm gonna try and I'm gonna say like, I bet you could shotgun these. I'll slide it.
The guy he's a little banty rooster of a guy. He's built like his shoulders, like he's built like an ice cream cone. His shoulders and his pecs are just like, ugh. And he's got a tiny little waist and really slim legs.
Mhm.
And he's like, yeah, I can. And grabs it from your hand, pops the lid off, chugs it down his throat in a single draught. And he's like, that wasn't so bad. And then he's like waiting for something to happen. You guys all notice his hair turns perfectly silver, the same color as the potion was.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't do that.
And he's like, that wasn't hard. Next.
So he doesn't have to draw one. He just takes the one that I give him, correct? That's why I was just curious.
This look was just Jess adjusting the mechanics in her head to make certain that I'm having them work the best way.
Okay.
Because I hadn't thought about that aspect, about the fact that if you continue to give away potions,
yeah,
you'd have. So yes, now he has to spin, and whatever
Okay.
lands in front of him, you will get.
Okay.
So,
Uh-oh.
I have 40 brews, 40. I've got a random number generator here. So it's, should be an absolute random chance. What he hands you looks like chalk.
I immediately look at Pax and I like thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up, thumbs down. Like, I see her teeth or their teeth. Sorry, excuse me. I'm like, and I'll down it.
Okay. Yeah, you get the same sensation. Your mouth goes numb
Let's
from the
go.
inside out. You end up with like these like mandibles out in front of your face. It's difficult for you to talk. You drop your alcohol level down 2, and yeah.
Cool.
And then play passes to Frankie.
Frankie gives it a big old hard whirl, gives it a big spin. As it stops, he crookedly snatches at the bottle and pushes his thumb into the cork, pops it off, and tips it back without a second thought.
Not even hesitation.
No,
Okay,
not at
so
all.
the bottle that you picked up was orange and had gold flecks swirling in it. And you guys see Frankie just pop that back, chug it back, and no sooner has he taken the bottle out of his mouth and slammed it back down on the table, but it all around him, like it looks like his entire body is encompassed in flames. Frankie, you don't feel anything. You can see you're on fire, but you don't feel anything. You're not burning. You're not, you can put your hand on the tablecloth. It's not leaving marks on the tablecloth or anything, but you sure as heck look like you were entirely on fire. And your alcohol level goes down 1.
You give
So
it
metal.
belch. Go. Toasty. Your turn.
Okay, so Lou.
All right.
So what pops up in front of you is a cherry red liquid. It looks like if you had melted a cherry Jolly Rancher into liquid form. And if you hold it up and sniff it, it smells a little bit like cinnamon.
Fireball.
I have a pitch for you, and feel free to tell me no, because my intelligence is not great.
Okay.
I don't want to roll to see if I recognize the substance.
Sure.
I think I want to like use my nose and my time with the Lupin True Fae to see if I can recognize patterns from nature that would give me a hint on if this is a benign or a dangerous substance. So like how like poisonous things are typically bitter or bad smelling.
Or fire related things are often red.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's definitely a pattern you've noticed.
So if I were to roll investigation, and if I could do that, could I use wit instead of intelligence? I'm not
Just
trying
for
to think
more of
about
a
it.
hint rather than a specific thing.
Yeah, so just like a
I think
vibe.
that's fine. 100%.
So I'm gonna
100%.
try to do that. It's at -2. So that gives me 3 that I can roll.
Fantastic. It's not a bad roll. Assuming your dice don't hate you.
Well, I did get a 1, but I got a 1-9.
Fantastic. So you got a success. Yes, you definitely know. I mean, one of the basic rules of nature is that red is danger, red is fire, red can be poison. You know, it quite often in nature represents as a way of a warning.
Okay. And is there a sacred band member sitting at my table as well?
Yep, you each have a sacred band member with you.
Yes.
That's what I thought. So I'm gonna like lock eyes with that person. I'm gonna say, "Hey, board shorts," and I toss it at him.
The gal snatches it out of the air. She's like, "Yeah, whatevs." And she's like, "Spicy." And when she says spicy, flames gut out of her mouth and she catches the tablecloth on fire. And she's like, "Oh, okay."
Typical summer court. They got no chill. And I look around at no one and I say, "Get it? Get all right, it's fine.
I get it. I get it.
You get it." That
Pointing
guy
at
gets
Lou.
it. That guy gets it.
Yeah, she does not look pleased. She is like pursing her lips.
Oh, I look pleased.
I'll get back at you. And it like shoots flames off to the side. It's on. And as she says on, she kind of drags the flame burst that's coming back as she draws out the word. So it kind of vaguely comes near you, but doesn't actually like, and it's enough to let you know that you can feel the warmth from the fire, but not actually catch you on fire. And she becomes more intoxicated. Okay, fantastic. So then play passes to Sky.
Do I need to drink a random?
Oh, thank you. I am so sorry. She spins the Lazy Susan. I'm sure we will get into a pattern with this. And she
Done
comes
made
up.
her hacked.
Okay, she comes up with, she snatches a vial off and kind of tosses it over your direction. The liquid that's inside is a cloudy white blue. And if you hold it really close to your nose, it smells kind of like ozone.
That's not good. It's not good news. And that I have to drink this one, right?
Mm-hmm. Dims is
Okay.
the rules. You can always tap out, but once you've tapped out, you don't get to join back up.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. Okay. I'm going to establish dominating eye contact as I down that bottle. Never breaking eye contact the whole time. It's kind of impressive.
Okay, fantastic. The liquid going down your throat doesn't really taste like anything. It's just kind of like, it tastes like if you've ever been outside during a lightning storm, that kind of like power, but no real flavor per se. And you guys, as you're glancing over at Lou, like wondering what's going to happen, is it going to catch on fire? Is it going to grow mandibles? You realize he like, and he's now is floating like a couple of inches off his chair. And you like, you can grab your chair and move around and stuff, but you're unless you grab something and push your feet against the floor, you don't make contact with the ground.
I look back at her and I say, "Is this the kind of vengeance you had in mind? I'm on cloud 9." And then I look around again. Get it?
Yeah, looks like you're high.
Okay, and that is a +3 to your alcohol level.
Ooh.
Which explains the pun.
Okay, so sorry about that. Sky, you're next.
Okay, I guess I will spin.
Okay. Your vial is kind of burgundy colored. And if you hold it close, it smells kind of like fermented grapes.
Okay. Could I use science to investigate this? Maybe just like with
Sure.
my knowledge of like other things that I've
Like,
observed.
It's kind of like, okay, like this appears to have a chemical reaction with between this and that kind of thing. Sure, I'd be happy to give you a shot at it. Go ahead.
Okay, so
And
did
roll
you say
maybe intelligence and science?
okay, so did you say there was also a penalty that we get to
Yes,
that, or is it
-2 dice. So if you if
Okay.
your dice pool would be 4, just roll 2 die.
okay? I did get 1/8.
Fantastic. It seems like wine. I mean, it looks indistinguishable from the wine that Frankie was drinking earlier. And in fact, he's probably still got a bottle of it in front of his self at the table.
Okay. I'll drink it.
Okay. It's wine. It's wine. You're +1 to your alcohol level, no particular effects. Tastes like a fairly decent, Bordeaux. It's fine. Nice little
Okay.
tannin, heavy on the tongue. No big deal.
Tasty.
Everybody's kind of, your members of your table are like, okay, I guess that's what we get. Okay, fantastic. And great.
I'll go ahead and spin it.
Fantastic. There's 40 brews here. You get
Jen?
one, you get one
Jen?
that smells like cinnamon.
Oh, there you go.
Bright red.
Kind of using I think I'm gonna rely on my skills as like the party healer. I typically try to kind of know what's good and bad for you, I guess. So
Sure.
especially when we're talking about potions, is there any way I can use like maybe medicine to determine like hints about like if like red is bad or anything like that?
Sure. Yeah. I'm happy to let you make that roll. Definitely. Go ahead.
And then you said there's a -2 penalty.
2. Yep.
Am I seeing all this happen?
Oh yeah. That's what we staggered it out so you guys can each see what the other
So
person's doing.
what am I rolling here? Medicine and
Medicine and intelligence.
Okay.
-2. So whatever your score is there, -2, and that's the number of die you roll.
Okay. I have 2 8s.
Okay, fantastic. You recognize that not only are you pretty sure that this is something fire related, but you're pretty sure it's exactly the thing that Lou tossed to the Sacred Band member just a minute ago that made her blow fire.
You look over and see me like,
I'm gonna look over at the sunband on
Uh-huh.
my table, and
Uh-huh.
I'm going to try to kind of intimidate them in a way and say, well, I hope that your insides are prepared for what's coming for you. And I don't know if I could try to intimidate them in some way, like trying to give like details of some kind, like gory details.
Sure. Yeah. You be like, yeah, and like everything I know about medicine says is this is gonna burn you from the inside out, and the more egotistical you are, the hotter the flames will burn. Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, no, the person that's sitting across from you, they look kind of like they're made out of brick, and they're like, I ain't scared, little boy.
I pass it to him.
Okay, he pops it up, chugs it. He's seen his fellow team member drink this earlier. He makes a point of belching after he's done, and coincidentally, the belch kind of catches the tablecloth like over in your area, starts to smolder it a little bit. He's like, is that all you got?
Wait till next round.
Okay, so then he's gonna spin, and
White chalky liquid. White chalky liquid.
Actually, he grabs one off the center. He's like, ah, damn, this one. And every time he talks, he's making a point to like talk up so that it goes and catches, like, not the table on fire. But he's not being shy whatsoever about flinging these flame. Every time he exhales or talks out of his mouth, flame comes out too. He's like, oh, damn, this one looks like it's my flavor. And it's like this golden, almost honey-like looking liquid. It kind of glows, and he tosses it over to you. He tosses it just off enough that if you're going to catch it, you kind of got to like move for it, designed to kind of make you look like you're awkward or going to drop it one way or the other. Not so bad that it's like a clear miss, but just enough to make you look clumsy when you catch it. And if you sniff it, it smells like honey. It's, smells like honey or mead or something along those lines.
All right, I'll drink it.
Fantastic. It tastes just like honey. It's thin, more like a mead, but it doesn't have that fermented flavor that mead does. It's +2 to your alcohol level. And you guys look over, and your quiet, gray-skinned companion is now glowing like a light bulb. Literally, if they were to pull the curtains in this room, he would be glowing brightly enough to illuminate it. Doesn't seem to have any other physical effects on you, though, Gray, other than just increasing your alcohol level a little bit.
I lean in towards them and I say, better luck next round.
Yeah, no problem. Let's see. I'm going to add some scores to their thing. One of the winter courtiers hands stuff off to one of the autumn courtiers at a couple of your tables. The golden band people just seem to chug it on their own. It's like they don't want to show that they're afraid of anything. But the winter and autumn courts seem to do a lot of passing back and forth and a lot of analyzing, like, okay, well, I know about this and I know about this, so maybe it's this, but I don't know. Eventually, like, they're the person that's kind of watching to make sure nobody's cheating and stuff like that, like, will come over and gently say, because eventually one of the winter and autumn courtiers are going back and forth so much about what this might be. It's like they've completely lost track of what the competition is, and they're all just directly involved in well, it could be this, it could be this, I don't know this. I once read this apothecary book that said, made reference to this thing back in the 1800s, and the guys, the officiants, like, I wouldn't like to have to impose a time limit on this, but perhaps we could move things along in a timely manner. And they're like, oh yeah, okay, go back to their thing. So far, nobody has passed out at any of the tables, although over at one of the tables where one person apparently, everybody's picking on, at Pax's table, everyone is picking on the winter courtier. So like they're handing them the drinks that they think are going to be strongly alcoholic. And it seems like they're guessing pretty good, because the winter courtier at Pax's table is looking a little wobbly. Same sort of thing is happening at Sky's table with the autumn courtier. So far, the golden band folks are either holding their own really well or are just faking it really, really well. So we're going to enter into the second round. Pax, you are first. And go ahead.
Pax is going to go ahead and just kind of, what is the summer guy that's at, or summer person that's at my table, what do they look like?
Oh, let's see. The one that is at your table looks like a stereotypical martial artist, down to the point of wearing a gold gi. I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce it. The stereotypical martial arts competition thing. They have a whole little arsenal of weapons and nunchucks and things like that. Their skin is like a dark onyx black. and it looks like it's probably made out of like either jet or obsidian or something like that. They have that kind of sheen to it.
So I'm going to go ahead and spin it, but as I'm spinning it, I'm going to take a look at that person, and I'm just going to be like, oh, you know that you and I could just run this entire table. And I'm trying to manipulate him into not giving me any.
Oh, you're kind of doing the, you and me, we can take out these guys.
Yeah, but I'm trying to manipulate him into it. So
sure.
Do you want me to roll anything for that, or?
You know what? You are feeding into his ego, and that is his most vulnerable point. At this point, he's like, he basically is like, okay, I won't hand off to you if you don't hand off to me. And
well, of course,
the winter courtier at the table's like, what? That's cheating. You can't make alliances. And the officiant's like, there was nothing in the rules about that. Diplomacy is often at the heart of competitions.
Okay, so what lovely thing did I?
It is a hot pink, thick liquid. It's opaque. You can't see through it. It looks a lot like Pepto-Bismol. It's like kind of bright, bright pink.
Is it? What scent does it have?
It smells kind of like wintergreen.
Smells like wintergreen. Okay. Can I activate Reflections of the Past to look at the bottle and see what was put into it?
Well, let's see. Let me see what that skill does. There we go. Packs. Reflections of the Past. Pull up any image reflected in the surface in the last week. Yeah, it's been bottled in the last week. So yeah, definitely you can attempt to do that. So this is the first time any of us have used contracts during this session. I'm going to explain really quick how they work. When you look at your contract, it has the title of the contract, a general description. Sometimes that general description is different than what the mechanic actually does. So what matters mechanically is the area that's listed after success. That will tell you the mechanics of what happens if you succeed. The cost is a glamour unless you are able to activate the catch. The catch is basically a way of getting around the glamour cost of it. The dice pool just tells you what you roll in order to get a success, and the action is instant. Everybody in every round gets to take an instant action and move. Some of them are sometimes like contested, which means that you're doing it against another person. But for the most part, almost all the contracts are listed as instant. So the important part is really the glamour cost and whether you're going to activate the weird or whether you're going to, activate the catch or whether you're going to have to spend glamour, and then making the roll. So in your case, it's wits plus weird.
Okay. Do I have to do glamour, or is the catch okay on this?
The reflective object belongs to someone the lost has a close connection with. So are you doing this in the reflection of the bottle itself?
That was the plan, because that would be I was figuring that the reflection had to be from something that was actually in the room when this was done.
Right, exactly.
So thus I was going to use the bottle.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. In this case, the bottle belongs to the queen. You don't have a close connection with her, so you're from a different court and stuff. So yeah, you go ahead and spend the glamour.
Okay, I'll spend glamour.
Yep. You guys will notice in your glamour, it says 5 out of 10. Your glamour pool is 10. You can hold up to 10 points of glamour, but you start out each game session with only 5. So there are ways that you can get more glamour. Eating goblin fruits is one of them. Some brews made out of goblin fruits restore glamour. You can also get it from observing humans in undergoing great emotions, especially if they are the same emotions that are associated with your court. You get even more so. So if you're an autumn courtier and you're watching people at a horror movie get actually scared about it, or maybe watching somebody get mugged or have a close encounter with a car, then you would be able to harvest extra glamour out of that compared to what, say, a spring courtier might have been able to harvest in the same situation. So you got one success?
Yes.
Fantastic. So pull up any reflected image in the surface in the last week. Last for a scene. So you're watching. There is. I forgot about Clementine. So you see what appears to be a Shih Tzu the size of a pony. Its fur is all purple, and despite the fact that it is a quadruped, I mean, like it's walking on four legs, it's not a bipedal, it still manages to manipulate the bottles and the potions and that kind of thing really, really easily. It's like it was just born to do this. And it's taking some substances. It's got like Bunsen burners and distilling tubes and that kind of thing, and is kind of distilling stuff down, and then it drips this hot pink, thick, viscous liquid drips into the vial that you recognize as the one you're holding in your hand.
Okay.
What are you wanting to? So you've been able to witness them bottling this. What are you looking for in terms of information?
So I'm hoping that I might have seen some of the ingredients. So then if I did see the ingredients, maybe that'll help me with my trying to figure out what
Analysis.
it is.
Yeah, definitely. Because you are who you are, you definitely recognize some of the things that are in the mortar and pestle that were put into the distilling liquid. There's some mushrooms that you're fairly certain are hallucinogens. Sorry. There's a green clear liquid. Hang on just a second. I'm going to mute myself for a second. Cough. Pardon me. That you're fairly certain might be absinthe. So there's very definitely some ingredients going into here that are hallucinogen focused.
Okay.
What if you were playing anyone but Pax, I would definitely have you make a roll, but that's kind of Pax's shtick. So
that's what I was kind of hoping. So with that, I would have an idea that this definitely has a higher alcohol content to it than as far as having the absinthe in it.
At the very least, it's probably going to have some psychotropic effects.
Okay. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to the Autumn Court at my table.
Fantastic. The Autumn Courtier looks a little nervous about it, but they take it and they drink it down and they're like, that's not so bad. I mean, I don't want to be overly optimistic, but why are the walls moving? They're not supposed to be moving like that. And their eyes roll back in their heads and they fall out of their chair. So Pax, would you note down that the winter or the Autumn Courtier at your table is out?
Yes.
And the officiant comes over, motions for someone to move the Autumn Courtier back to their own little corner, and spins the Lazy Susan and plucks a leaf green opaque vial out of it and hands it to you. Parting gift.
Of course. And of course I have no choice but to drink it, so therefore I drink it.
Okay. It tastes like fresh mown grass. And any small bruises or scratches or that kind of thing that you have on you, you just like feel them like tingle and then heal up. You feel like you're in perfect condition in everything except for alcohol content. So
which
it
is?
doesn't affect your, it is going to do +2.
I'm still good.
Okay, fantastic. But yes, you're feeling very, very strong and healthy.
Not bad at all.
Alex?
All right. Spin it, grab it.
It's an oily black liquid.
Oof. What is everyone else's when I pick it up? What is everyone else's on my table? Like their facial expressions. What are they thinking about it?
The winter courtier is a little bit cringy. They're like, that doesn't look great. The autumn courtier is like kind of startles and then like tries to put a poker face over themselves. The golden band person is just, or the sacred band person is just looking at you like, yeah, and
I'm gonna look at the winter because the winter one was startled, right?
Mhm.
Okay. I'm gonna first look at the winter one, and I'm gonna reach out to give him the bottle, but then I'm gonna give it to the autumn one.
Okay, the winter one is like, and then looks visibly relieved when it goes to the autumn person.
I lean and I go, "You owe me," and I give it to the autumn one, and I say, "Good luck."
Fantastic. The autumn person is not happy. They pop the thing. They smell it. It smells awful. It's obviously from their recoiling, right? And they go to drink it, and it's really interesting. You notice it first around their hand that still has the vial in it. Within just a few seconds, you can see the vial through their hand. You can still see the outline. It's almost like like a comic representation of the Invisible Woman, where you can see her outline, but you can see everything through her. And the autumn courtier starts retching. They're just like, oh, that was so so bad. And as they're doing this, more and more and more of their arm and then their body, and eventually, by the time they stop retching, they're basically translucent. Like if they held still, you'd have against like a solid surface, you'd have a really hard time seeing them. Where they're sitting, it's not so difficult because you can see that kind of outlines against the tablecloth and that kind of thing. But and they get noticeably more tipsy.
Can I kind of I'm gonna make can I do a contract, or did I do my action?
Yeah,
okay,
no, that's fine.
I want to lean to the golden band, right? Is that there? Or sacred band. There we go. I'm gonna lean over to them and I'm gonna try and use friendless tongue.
Okay.
Which, it's an extended. I don't know what that means.
It usually means that you have to do more than one roll to accumulate all the successes necessary. Usually represents things like running a race or picking a lock or something like that may take multiple ongoing effort to.
Well, then I'll keep it going. Do they perchance have a ring on their left hand?
Who are you talking about? The sacred band person?
Yes.
Sure, yeah, they can definitely have a ring on their hand.
That way I don't have to cost the glamour for it. So
sure, yeah, that seems reasonable.
So I'm gonna lean over and be like, they handled that way better than you ever could have.
Okay, so what I'm going to need you to do is roll your manipulation plus subterfuge. I'm going to roll this character's composure plus weird.
Yeah.
And then whichever, let's see, when the number of successes equals or exceeds the target's willpower, target becomes intensely angry at the focus of their attention. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to roll you against me this round, and we'll see how much towards their willpower you've gotten. The next round, you can make another roll. Next round, you can make another roll. At the point where you've goaded them past the point of their willpower, they're going to freak out.
Can I also do my seeming blessing and spend 1 glamour to add 1 dice pool involving my manipulation?
100%.
Okay, I'm going to do that. All right, so I'll go ahead and roll. Oh, I'm not going to do that.
I rolled on 4 die. I rolled 3 1s and a 4.
I got 1 8.
That's enough. You got
everything else
1
is
success.
Low.
Yep. Thank goodness, huh?
And then I'll take whatever someone gives me.
Okay, so let's see. Where do we go? Okay. This looks like salt water. It's kind of just a little cloudy water. You pop it open. It tastes like salt water. Doesn't seem to have any immediate effect. But it does give you 2 more points of alcohol.
Oh, okay.
I gotta make a note that this is kind of pending for you.
Oh boy. Pending.
Alex.
Ending.
Well, just like you have this pending ongoing thing with the summer courtier, right? Okay, Frankie, you're next.
So Frankie is going to give the thing a spin. And
I thought you were saying he's gonna give a finger.
no,
I was like, oh, okay, that seems
Give-
very in keeping for Frankie.
give it a spin. Give this little thing a spin. And as it's spinning, he's gonna lean over and he's gonna look everyone at his table in the eye. What do you think? Think it's gonna give me superpowers or kill me? And he's like, he's got
Definitely
this.
gonna kill you.
And as he does
the
this,
sacred band person has no hesitation.
yeah, as he does this, he is going to try and do a creeping dread, which is a
Okay.
contract that I have.
Okay.
And he is going to try and make everyone kind of a bit more afraid of him at this table.
Nice.
Let's see. So I spend a glamour and then I roll manipulation plus weird. I'm wondering, do I get to add my intimidation to that, or is it just straight?
Yeah, no, it's just straight for the contract.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
you can are you going to be then using 2 glamour and 1 willpower to do everyone within 3 yards of you? 'Cause you
Oh,
can
so
either
that's
do
what that
one
means.
person or a group, but
Gotcha.
it's everyone. Luckily,
Gotcha.
there's none of your friends within 3 yards of you, but they're definitely everyone at this table would be.
Yeah, I'll do that then.
Okay.
And let's see. Do I roll for each one of them or just once?
You go ahead and roll, and then I'll compare it to their resolve.
Got it. Okay. Let me open up my dice roller. Let's see. So that's every dot is a die, right?
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Roll. Okay, I got a 110 and 19, and the rest were fails.
That's okay. That's enough. The sacred band person just kind of is like, okay, and like kind of solidifies their will against you.
Sure.
The autumn person is looking around like they're looking for an escape route. The winter courtier looks at you, goes completely white, and passes out, like just faints. So please note that your winter courtier at your table is now out.
Okay, that's awesome. I like to think as the courtier is starting to look faint, he just turns to him and goes, ah! And like sticks out his long tongue and his like massive mouthful of darkling fangs and freaks him out.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, and then slowly settling back, he's just gonna snatch up the bottle, give it a shake, and then you said the autumn person is still up, right?
Yep.
Okay. What color is the fluid?
It is dark red with gold sparkles.
Okay, yeah. He's gonna give it a shake and look at the autumn person. He's going, this one looks like more your flavor. And he's gonna hand it right over to him.
Okay. The autumn person is very, very hesitant, but like steels himself. He's like, okay, I got it. Okay. You swear to God, as he pops off the cap, you hear a real faint music playing.
Oh.
And he drinks it down kind of tentatively. It takes him a couple gulps to drink it down. But by the third gulp that he's down, he's kind of...
Is he grooving? Oh. Okay.
And he gets up from the table. He's like, you guys, can't you hear it? We got it. Can't you hear it?
I think
And
Frankie would start doing this. It's like,
right?
yeah, I hear it. I hear it, all right.
The officiant is like, sir, you must remain seated or you're going to forfeit your place. And the autumn courtier is like, but but I can't, man. I mean, it's my song. They're playing my song. And he literally dances out of the room, unable to stop. You,
Dang,
if,
Frankie.
Two.
if you two
Twofer.
and one, just like
Locking eyes with the sacred band person. Just go like, and then there was one.
so the officiant comes over, makes note that the autumn and the winter courtier at your table are out of the play, and that it's just the two of you remaining.
That is groovy.
Yeah, get it, man.
And so Lou, wait, no. So the officiant spins and hands you a bottle that looks a whole lot like, who was the person that's currently in flames?
I am on fire.
Okay. Yeah, it looks exactly like the bottle that you drank earlier that ended up catching you on fire.
I mean, immediately Frank is just like, lovely, thank you.
He loves this stuff.
Tip it back again. Does he get more on fire?
Yeah, it just
Okay.
brightens the flames a little bit more. You're like,
Very cool.
okay, yeah, I'm a dragon.
That puts me back even further.
And that is -1. So you guys are
Minus
doing
3.
really good with your
Phew.
rolls.
Extremely sober, more sober than Frankie's ever felt in his entire life.
I need to go have a beer.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay, fantastic. So, Lou, it is your turn now.
Okay.
When you spin, the vial that is up is layered in rainbow colors. It's transparent. You can see through it, but it's like, you know, if you've ever seen like a layered shot, except the whole bottle is layered in a rainbow.
Cool. So I've never met the sacred band person at my table, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't know each other.
Yeah. I mean, you're aware that they're obviously a member of the sacred band, but like you guys haven't hung out or anything.
So since she doesn't know my name,
Okay.
I'm going to use my witch's intuition, which means I
Ooh.
can cast this for free,
Mhm.
to learn one fear from her subconscious.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not even going to make you roll for that because it is so obvious with these people. Humiliation, like being bested, biggest fear whatsoever, being made a fool of, like right up there. Their ego is their strongest, like defense mechanism.
Okay. And I'm gonna take another sniff at this bottle. I'm gonna just
Okay.
take that note and store it up here for later.
Okay.
So that is 3 that
Okay.
I can roll. And that's a 7, 3, and a 2.
That is no successes. 7,
Okay.
3, 2, right? Yeah, because we need 8, 9, or 10.
So since I don't know what this thing does and I can't make heads or tails of it, I'm gonna pass it on to Summer Court. And I'm gonna look her in the eye and I'm just gonna like real sudden as soon as she touches it, I'm just gonna like snap a toothy smile at her. Just like there's too many teeth in my mouth. Like it's a lot, it's too much.
A lot of
I can't even say like it's too much. There's too many teeth. And I'm just gonna look at her and say, hey, I got a good whiff of that with this beastkin nose of mine. If you drink that, you're gonna crap your pants in front of everybody. You're gonna be absolutely, totally humiliated. I don't know if you're ever gonna save face from that ever again. Tap out.
I'm not
You know
going to
you-
tap out.
Oh, you know
Look
you
at
don't
it.
want to be humiliated in front of everyone that way. Look, you're lying, mama. You're gonna crap your pants in front of her? How are you ever gonna socially recover from this?
Damn.
Fortunately, maybe for her, she got like 3 successes on 3 dice. She's like, I'm not gonna do that. And she pops the cork, chugs it down, and she's like, see, I'm fine. All of a sudden, her hair starts turning into these like rainbow colored feathers, like a parrot, and even like the slight amounts of hair on her arms or her eyebrows, that kind of thing, all just like these bright parrot feathers.
And I just look at her and say, you look ridiculous.
What? Oh my god. What the?
How humiliating.
Fine. I'm fine. Oh, actually, let me check and see what her.
Ooh, are you holding up against Toucan Sam over there?
You guys are wondering.
She should have followed my nose.
Always knows. The flavor of fruit. Sorry, I've apparently lost the. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, that does 2 more points of alcohol for her, and she's like, I think I'm gonna throw up. I gotta go. And she like makes a beeline for one of the restrooms, and the officiant's like, well, unfortunate, but so mark down that the summer courtier is out on your
Shout
table.
out. See you later, hot stuff. And then I look around like, get it? Because the fire.
Frankie's letting out a loud chest laugh, like booming.
Fantastic. Okay. And what appears in front of you, the officiant comes over and hands you the vial, spins the thing and hands you the vial. And it is a green ichor, like really gelatinous. If you hold it up to smell it, it smells like almond.
It's Jello.
Well, almond smell is usually a terrible sign. Once again, this is not good news. So yeah, I'm just going to do it.
Okay. You become so weak you can barely walk. Like you can hardly sit in your seat. You cannot do any contracts or any physical challenges for the duration unless something nullifies this. And it's +4 on the alcohol.
Oh man.
That puts me at 6.
That puts you at 6. Okay. So you pass out.
Am I
So
still
what
floating?
do they see? Oh, yep.
Can't walk. Now you're even
actually,
lighter.
the minute you become unconscious, all of the potion effects stop.
Oh, bummer. I wanted to like float around like a lost balloon.
Hitting the
Little
roof. Boom,
unconscious
boom,
balloon.
boom.
So as soon as I deliver my pun of like, get it because of the fire, wham, just face first on the table.
Okay, Sky. So we are actually over time now. I'm going to go through and let Sky and Gray do their last pull, and then we'll just summarize up to wrap things up because I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time. I know I'm on the West Coast, so it's only like 8 o'clock here, but I know it's probably significantly later for some of you. So Sky, let's see, spin the thing. And what is in front of you? Are you going to do anything other than just spin?
No, I'll just spin it and sniff.
Okay, fantastic. Let's see, that number is that one won't be very much fun for you. I'm going to take some leisure with this. It's a red orange liquid. It smells spicy. Like it smells peppery, like hot.
I think I'm gonna pass this one on.
Okay. Who are you giving it to at your table?
I'll give it to the summer court.
Okay. Pops the lid off, chugs it back. Oh, that's like Tabasco. That's like, okay. I'm okay. I'm not breathing fire, right? I'm not on fire. Okay. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. I think I'm fine. I don't think I'm fine. Nope, not fine. Eyes roll back in the head and he falls over. It's obvious that the potion itself didn't have any real effect on him, but the booze totally got to him. The officiant comes over and hands you a swirling light blue translucent liquid, and the bottle smells like mint, like peppermint, like a real nice, sharp, clean mint smell.
Reminds me of the sky. I guess I have to drink it anyway. So I pop it open and guzzle it down.
Okay. You guys are watching, you're like watching each other on your turns and stuff. All of a sudden you guys see Sky shrink like to like a quarter of their former size. Like their eyes are barely looking over the table at this point.
Wow.
Okay, Gray. Last spin.
I am going to kind of as I spin the gadget, I'm going to look around at the rest of the table, kind of looking each one of them in the eye, and then kind of looking over my shoulder at the other tables and how everybody just keeps dropping. I'm going to say, you better steel yourselves because I think you're next. And I'm going to cast the Creeping Dread.
Okay.
Or use the contract Creeping Dread.
Fantastic. Okay, so you're going to roll your. Are you going to be doing it against the whole table?
Yes.
Or okay, so you're going to roll your manipulation plus your weird, and I'm going to roll their resolve. Yep. Nope. They don't got much resolve. Did you get any successes?
3 10s.
Yeah. Okay. Did you roll those 10s again?
That was actually off of each other.
Wowzers. Okay, fantastic. I never do that. I never get like
I know
dominoes explosions. The summer courtier, is there a summer courtier still upright at your table? Yes. Summer courtier covers it pretty well. But the rest of them, I mean, like the autumn courtier looks like they want to hide under the table. The winter courtier just gets very nervous and fidgety and starts like playing with the tablecloth and like it was a fidget spinner or something. And the sacred band guy is like, okay, it's okay. I got this.
I'm gonna just look at the vial real quick, just studying it.
It is a thick yellow potion that twists and turns. It almost looks like what's inside of a lava lamp. There's like a little waxy, blobby thing floating in the liquid that kind of twists and turns. It seems to move even more so than than would come into play from you moving it.
Okay. Can I kind of do what I did last time and just use like my healing knowledge and to kind of determine like with medicine what maybe is the nature
that
of
would
this?
Be perfect. Roll me your intelligence in medicine.
I have 1-8.
That's enough. You're pretty sure that thing that's inside that bottle is alive.
I'm gonna kind of show it to the rest of the table. This is your chance to walk away.
Autumn's like, I'm out. Doesn't even hesitate.
The winter one, they still look like they're stealing themselves?
Yeah, they're like kind of like calling your bluff kind of thing. Just the like, I have a poker face. I'm not going to show how affected I am by this.
So how intoxicated do the other 2 people on my table look?
Let's see. The
last one got a fire +3 or something like that.
Who was that? Was that the summer courtier or the winter courtier?
The summer.
The summer? Okay, the fire +3. So they look like they're about half done. The other one doesn't seem very affected. The winter courtier. But they're also really good at hiding things.
Let's see if you can stuff this one in your pocket. I'm going to slide this one to the summer courtier again.
Okay. And the summer courtier picks it up. It's like, okay, fine. Pops the top off, goes to pour it in their mouth. The waxy glob won't come out of the bottle. Like they're like, it's actively fighting to stay inside the bottle. And they're like, I can't drink this. And the officiant's like, if you can't drink it, then you forfeit. And they're like, but I'm trying.
I lean in. Time's running out.
I'm trying. I can't. And the officiant's like, I'm sorry. We're going to have to call that a forfeit.
Nice. Very good.
And
the
the summer recorder slams the bottle down on the table. The glass shatters, and this little like globby thing. It's obviously some sort of a hedge beast, some sort of a hobgoblin. Just like starts inching its way like.
Gray, eat it, drink it. Gray, drink it. Yeah, get it, Gray.
I'm gonna smack my hand on top of it And I'm gonna say, "Ooh, that was embarrassing, wasn't it?" And I'm gonna take it and eat it or whatever I'm gonna do.
Yeah, get it.
Okay, it fights on the way down. It does not go easily. If you bite into it, it's like a stale gummy bear, that kind of texture. Like, it's not easy to chew through. It's fighting you the whole way. And you can feel that not only is it resisting, like just because it's thick and globular, but it's actually moving in your mouth, trying to fight its way back out.
And then,
go ahead.
And then I'm gonna stare at the winter courtier and just like bare my teeth.
Oh my gosh.
Fantastic. Yeah, they're just like, their eyes, they're trying really hard to put on this facade. But you can tell their eyes just go bigger and bigger and bigger as you're doing this. And by the time you actually go and swallow the thing down, they're kind of turning green around the edges. So we're going to, because it's like 15 after, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Normally we would just go ahead and continue to play the fun potion game. But eventually you guys managed to make your way to the success. A couple of you, maybe fall under the table. But why don't you guys all roll, everybody who's still awake, roll me a 10-sided die. Just a random 10-sided die. 5?
I got a 5.
7? 5? Frankie, are you down, Frankie?
Oh, sorry, I was muted.
That's
I got
okay.
an 8.
You got an 8?
Yes.
Okay. So eventually the table comes down to everybody that had a 5 or better on their hands sitting at the table. And everybody else has been knocked out except for like one Sacred Band member and one Winter Courtier. And you guys go at it for a little bit longer. And eventually Frankie manages to gross out everyone at the table, including some of his own team members. And the tables are all cleared, the potions and all of the damage effects and everything are cleared out. As soon as someone passes out, the effects that were handling them at that point, or that were plaguing them at that point, go away, and they wake back up and are able to kind of slough back over to their corners to nurse their hangovers. And the queen calls you all up in front of the court. She has the herald announce that the winner of this year's lion competition is the Fab Six, and that she bestows the Lightbringer sword to Frankie. She doesn't look really happy about the fact she's doing it because, he's Frankie. And but she puts on a good face and is like, I am certain that you and your people will use this for noble and righteous purposes within our freehold.
He's already picking his tooth with it. Thank you very much, Queenie. It was a pleasure, but I have to ask, do you have anything stronger back there? I could really do with a drink after all that.
Please feel free to partake of the refreshment bar.
Oh, you're most gracious, Queenie. And with that, he would turn back and kind of look, which one of the our group looks the most exhausted and like beaten up from this whole experience?
Lou, I would think.
Do you think so? Okay.
Lou's like, it's me. I am a mess.
He just say, there, like the other one said, it's impractical, but you earned this. He'd give the sword over to Lou.
Oh, that was sweet.
I cradle it gently and I roll onto my back. And I'm like, Frankie, you gotta carry me out of here, man. I love you so much.
All right, let's not go that far, man.
As Frankie clears off another one of the lazy Susans full of just random jars.
He's got his arm around one of the people that were terrified of him, and he's like, captured this
that
person.
Wasn't that bad.
Well,
That's awesome.
if Alex is feeling kind of fatigued, I'll use Gift of Warm Breath for him.
Aw. That was really nice. Well, that was really fun, you guys. Thank you so much for letting me take you through this
A lot
little
of fun.
session. Do you guys have any questions before we wrap things up? Anything that was unclear or you wanted to get a better explanation of? If not, I will leave you with my invitation. I'm Jess Hartley on almost all social media. I'm the only one that's not a disc jockey or a competitive horse jumper. So please feel free if at any point in the future you need information or ideas about Changeling or any of the World of Darkness games. If I don't know the answers, I'll help you find them. So at any point, please feel free to come back and chat me up. If you're like I am, the minute the Zoom meeting closes, then you'll have questions because that's how it always works for me. But until then, thank you guys very much for running the game with me. And I hope you had a good time. And I'll see you guys all back in the Geek Therapeutics Discord, okay?
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good
Jess.
night.
Amazing
Yeah.
GM, Jeff. That was awesome.
Yeah. That was
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you. You guys were great players. Have a good night.